Never wear a dead man's watch. Before you put on a watch that belonged to someone who died, check one thing first. Make sure it is still telling the time. Because in old Chinese folklore, a dead man's watch does not always measure hours. Sometimes it counts what he never finished. When Daniel found the watch, it was inside a small wooden box at the back of an old thrift shop. The leather strap was cracked, the glass was scratched. But the watch itself looked expensive. The shop owner noticed him staring and said, "That one came from an estate sale." Daniel asked, "Does it still work?" The old man looked at the watch for a moment. Then he said, "It stopped the night its owner died." Daniel laughed softly. He thought it sounded like a sales story, a little mystery to make an old watch feel valuable, so he bought it. That night, Daniel cleaned the watch, fastened it around his wrist, and adjusted the hands to the correct time. At first, nothing happened. The second hand did not move. The watch remained silent. Then at exactly midnight, tick, Daniel looked down. The second hand had started moving. Slowly. Perfectly. But the time was wrong. No matter how many times he corrected it, the hands always returned to 3:17. 3:17 in the morning. Daniel searched the old man's name from the estate papers. The former owner had died in his bedroom. Time of death, 3:17 a.m. Daniel took off the watch immediately, but the skin beneath it was cold, and around his wrist there was a dark red mark like another hand had been holding him. The next morning, he went back to the thrift shop, but the shop was closed. No lights, no sign, no one inside. A woman from the store next door told him, "That shop has been empty for years." Daniel tried to throw the watch away, but that night, he woke up to ticking beside his ear. The watch was back on his wrist, and the hands were moving backward. 3:16, .315, 14. Each tick made the room colder. Then his phone lit up by itself. One new message appeared on the screen. It was from an unknown number. The message said, "You took my time." Daniel ran to the bathroom and held his wrist under hot water, trying to loosen the strap. But the watch tightened. The ticking grew louder. Then, in the mirror, he saw an old man standing behind him. Not angry, not screaming, just waiting. Daniel whispered, "What do you want?" The old man raised one pale finger and pointed to the watch. Daniel understood. It had never been a gift. It had never been a bargain. It was something unfinished. Something still attached to its owner. The next morning, Daniel was found asleep outside the cemetery gates. The watch was gone, but on his wrist the mark remained, and every night at 3:17, he still wakes up. Because some things should never be worn, especially if they belong to the dead. So if you ever find an old watch that has stopped, do not wind it, do not wear it. And if it starts ticking after midnight, take it back before it starts counting down. For more old warnings, people were never meant to test subscribe before the next one finds you.